Okay, we're going to get started. Hi, guys. This is Corinne Grodi, Diamond Ambassador on our Living Pink Life team call, Tuesday night team call. Tonight, I want to hop right into it because we have an awesome guest that I know many of you are super excited to hear from. And if you're not, because you don't know who she is, you're going to love her by the end of this call. She has become one of my dearest friends over the last several months. Just love her to death, and she's taught me so much. And I know that she's awesome because having been in the business for 4.5 years, I know that I have more to learn, but I go and I see a lot of speakers and sometimes it's just reiteration of things I already know. And she has pushed me to do some things that I wasn't comfortable with, but it's been very successful in my own personal business over the last couple of months. So that's how I know she's awesome. And plus, so many of you have gotten to be her friend and have taken her courses. We had about 45 people from our team that did her Elite Disruptors course this fall. And then there's myself and 4 people that are currently doing her next level course. And I know that she is about to actually start another course at the very beginning of January called Be the Shift. And I'm going to post about it tomorrow in our group if anybody's interested. So I'm really excited. She has so many opportunities. She also, if you follow her, you should go to her page, Jenny King, and follow her because on Mondays she has a Motivation Monday, right? That's what it's called, Motivation Monday?
Close.
Close. And then Fit to Lead Fridays. So Monday mornings and Friday mornings, she comes on live for like 30 minutes or so and gives us great tidbits. And I know actually she gives prizes, and there's been several people on our team that have won some awesome prizes. I think Kendra Flyhive won an awesome prize from her. Somebody else did too. So that's really great, and we all just love her. So we're going to let her, she is an elite business coach and a sales trainer and a public speaker. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I know a lot of you already know her, but if you have questions, everybody's muted, but just keep yourselves muted and then type them in the chat. And, maybe at the end of the call, Jenny can kind of quickly go through and try to cover some of the questions for us. Because I know I've given her a few topics I wanted her to talk about that I felt like would be most beneficial for all of us as we, draw 2017 to a close and start fresh with 2018. So without further ado, Jenny King.
Hey. Well, first of all, let me just tell you that I am so excited to be with this group because having the opportunity to get to know your leaders and all of you individually, and those of you that I don't know yet, I promise I'm excited to get to know you. So if I haven't sent you a request or you haven't sent me a friend request or you haven't, I haven't answered it yet, just know that I will, and we will find a way to connect. But I really adore each and every one of you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why in just a little bit, but that was a really great welcome, Corinne. Thank you for having me. I adore you. And Alyssa, Heather, Bridget, Christina, Julie, Stacy, thank you so much for having your teams on here too. So tonight, I'm going to give you the very best of what I have to help you close out 2017 and get 2018 started with the launch. I want you to know that 2018 is going to be your best year yet. If you are ready to have your best year yet, if you are ready to stop thinking about rocking your business and you're ready to start actually doing it, seeing what you plant become fruition, become real, I want you to know that I'm claiming that and I'm speaking that over each and every one of you in 2018. Okay? There's not a one of you on this call tonight that doesn't have a really, really big purpose in what you're doing. And I'm excited to give you what I know to help you pull that out so that you can go serve the world with the best of what you have. So if you're ready to rock it in 2018, let me see a hand. I mean, really rock it. Okay. So I should give you a little disclaimer, okay? When you raise your hand and you tell me that you're ready to rock it, you're making a commitment to me, okay? You're making a commitment to you. You're making a commitment to every heart and every life that you are intended to serve. You got it? Okay, so this is a contract that we're going to rock it out in 2018. So if you're seriously ready, now you know all that. Now you know the weight of it. If you're ready, let me see it one more time. Okay, there's no going back from this moment on, all right? So here's what I need you to know, okay? I have some great topics for you guys tonight from Corinne. She gave me some things that she thought would be really meaningful for you. I do want to take all of your questions. So write them down if you don't mind when you post them in the chat as well, just in case for some reason we can't scroll or I can't get to them. I don't want to not be able to answer your question. So if you have something that's burning in your brain, burning in your heart, write it down. But we're going to dive right in. And all right, we're going to start with, how do we lead with the business? How many of you would desire to lead with the business in 2018 where you've been leading with the products in 2017 or years before? Or maybe you've been leading with the business and you want to find out how to do it in a bigger, bolder way. Anybody feeling like that's like a must-have in 2018? Okay. Okay. Now I have some notes. So if you see me looking down, it's because we got a lot of stuff for you tonight and I want to make sure I don't miss any of it. Okay. So if you want to lead with the business, if you really want to go out and rock this as a business, you have to treat it like a business. There is no treating it like a hobby. There is no talking about it, thinking about it, hoping that it's going to come together. You're going to have to start acting like the CEO, world-changing, bad mama jamma. I know we got a couple gentlemen in here too, right? So all of you, the bad bosses that you are, you're going to have to start treating your business as such. Now, I'm not telling you that you can't work it in your in-between times and part-times, because I know there's some of you that have full-time jobs as well, right? I get that. And I'm not telling you that. But what I'm telling you is that for the moments that you work it, I want you to take everything I'm giving you, everything that you're learning from every resource, and begin to treat it like a business, like you are an owner of your own company. You are the CEO. I need you to treat it that way, because if you want the results to come, if you want to plant the seeds that are going to bear the big fruit, we've got to start looking at it differently. And the only way that you can do that is if you are boldly taking it to the world as a business owner, right? Do you think the owner and CEO and the board of directors for Amazon or Walmart or any of the other major corporations in the world have any trouble looking people in the eye and saying, hey, what do? I own a business. I'm rocking that business with everything I've got. I am the one who is in the lead and I am taking these things to the world. Do you think they have any issue having that conversation? No. And you're no different. Network marketing is the future of business. Okay? So if you sit sometimes and you question, well, I don't know if network marketing is for me. There's so many people who judge it. There's so many people who have things to say about it. They say it's a scam. They say it's a pyramid scheme. Who's heard that one? Right? That's nonsense. It is a purely disruptive business model that is attractive for companies because it is a more direct line to consumers. It is a way for them to get their products to consumers faster with a human touch, because people buy for one reason and one reason only. There's two facets of it, but it's emotion, right? No matter what you're selling, there is some sort of emotional connection to why somebody is going to say yes to doing business with you or being a part of the opportunity that you're providing. Now, the facets of that are, there's either fear, usually it's fear of missing out, right? Fear of not being a part of something, or it's love because they've fallen in love with what you have, what it means for them, or what it's going to do for them, right? But that emotional piece is huge. So network marketing is the way that creators of products get their products to consumers with that emotional connection faster, more efficiently, more effectively, and without the overhead that traditional brick and mortars require. Look at all of our favorite brick and mortars, right? Now, I might date myself a little bit, but JCPenney and Belk, right? And some of our favorite retailers. Those aren't higher end retailers, but they've been around for an awfully long time. And they're now giving way to the world of online, right? So if you begin to doubt what you're doing and the kind of business that you're in, I want you to reframe and reshift the way you think about your business. Your business model is fantastic. It gives humans at every level the ability to grow, the ability to profit, the ability to serve, to take their gifts to the world, where in major corporations, they might not get to do that. So when somebody says to you, oh, that's a pyramid scam, right? I want you to say, it's the best pyramid scam I've ever been involved in, and let me tell you why, okay? Your favorite companies, their organizational structure is a pyramid. There's a person at the top, and then there's someone under them, and then there's people under them, and then it goes on and on and on. But what doesn't happen in a traditional pyramid? The people don't win, right? The people don't profit. They don't thrive. They don't have the ability to become someone of true impact in the world in the way that you can. So when you're thinking about leading with the business, right, it's about understanding the value and the gravity and the brevity of the kind of opportunity that you're connected to. It's not a small thing what you all do, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, okay? But you will need to know, of course, that there are going to be customers that you need too, right? You need customers. You need them. There are people who will not be valuable to them to work the business. They will simply want products from you, and that's okay. So you have to use your discernment in saying, this person really makes sense to have a business opportunity. And this person makes more sense to really kind of stay with the products. You have to begin to use your discernment to know when that happens. But if you want a powerful business and you want to lead with that, I'm going to give you some things tonight that are going to help you create some clarity in how to lead with the business so that you can win and attract the people that are going to be the kind of business builders that you need. That's probably the number one question I get from network marketers is, how do I attract business builders? Is that a question that you've asked recently? How do I attract those people that are going to rock it out? Okay, the truth is you have to become that person first. We cannot authentically lead and attract those people until we become practitioners of the habits and things that are required to build a business. Then those people will come, because then you can authentically speak about what it means to build a business. Now, don't take that to mean that if you're brand new, or you've only signed one person, or you haven't signed anyone, that you're not qualified to lead a business. That's not what I mean. You can still be doing the practitioner work of what it requires to build a business as you're planting seeds. The fruit will come, okay? But you can't authentically tell people that you're going to help them create a business if you're not beginning to do the work yourself. So leading with the business requires three things, okay? The first thing it requires is clarity in a few different areas of who you are and what's happening within your business. So I'm going to give you some questions that you can ask yourself to help find this clarity. And I'm sorry I keep drinking. I have strep throat, so my throat's a little. So anyway, no, I'm good. I'm totally good. I'm not going to die in front of you guys tonight. Don't worry. Okay, so here's some questions that you need to ask yourself to get that clarity so that you can lead with the business as you want to. Okay, the first one is this. What do you want your life to look like? And not in a general sense, right? Like I know most of you have vision boards probably, and you have kind of a basic sense of what you would like your life to look like. But at the end of the day, when you close your eyes and you really contemplate how you're going to spend your time every day trading time for something, right? Because whether you have a job or you work a business of your own, you are trading time for something. There is a trade. It's got to happen. What is that supposed to look like for you? What does it look like with your family? What does it look like for you personally? How do you want to spend your days? What do the hours look like? How does it break down for you? You need to know that, because when you begin to have a great sense of your life in terms of vision, then you can do what I call deconstruction, which is where you begin to work backwards into the habits and the things that are going to create that life. So that's the first question. The second question you have to ask yourself is, what do you want your business to look like? And what I mean by that is, what do you want your team to look like? How many people do you want on your team? Do you know, honey? What do you want your daily operations to look like? In your heart of hearts, what does that look like for you day in and day out to operate a business? What do you want that to look like? Same thing. As you have a vision for your life, you must have a vision for your business. You can't just be winging it saying, oh, I'm hoping I'm going to recruit everybody under the sun. We got to create some targets, because that's going to help you drill down what you need to create to get there, okay? The next thing is, who do you want to be in your business as a leader? How do you thrive as a leader in your business? Who do you become that's going to best serve what it is that you want to create? Because what the clarity in that question will tell you is about the people that you need to recruit, right? Because we all have areas where we're strong. We all have areas where we are just massively impactful and influential, because those are our strengths, right? This is one of mine. I could never build you a house. It would be the most lopsided, crooked thing you ever lived in, and the toilet would probably fall over sideways. Let's be real, okay? There are things that we're good at. There are things that we're not. But in understanding who you want to be in your business, how you want to lead, it gives you a sense of who you can begin to think about in terms of who might you want on your team as you're leading with the business, okay? So that's going to lead to the next question. Who do you want on your team? What do you want those people to look like? What are the qualities that they have? Now, I know there are going to be times when you meet someone and they might not fit a certain checklist, and they say, yes, I want to work the business. And of course you're going to sign them because you want to give them opportunity. But what I will tell you is that there are millions of people in the world that are trying to get people to join them in endeavors, right? So what happens is, especially online, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but what we do for those of us that build businesses online, they call us digital nomads. If you didn't know that, now you know, okay? So digital nomads is what we are considered. There are millions of them. And because of the growing population of millennials and the next generations to come who will be living and working online, that population is growing even broader. So what is happening is that if we're not really getting very specific about who we are, what we're trying to create, who we want to be connected to, then we are literally just extra noise out in the world. It's just all noise. It kind of blends in, right? Like nobody can tell the difference. But when you get really specific about who you are, what's important to you, who you want to be connected to, the kinds of people that you value, then your message is going to become a little bit clearer each time. You'll get more efficient, more effective with every time you share it, right? But that's how you're going to begin to attract the people that you want, when you can narrow down who it is that you want, who it is that you want to be connected to, okay? So next thing you need to know is, what are your values? What do you value in life? What are the things that are the most important to you? And this is why this is important for business. And these can be all the same, right? Life, business, it's all a blend, especially when you're a digital nomad. There's no like great separation of church and state when you are an online business builder. It's all together, okay? But your values are important, because if you don't know what your values are, then there's going to become a time in your business where you're going to be forced or asked to compromise who you are. But when you have a very clear understanding of who you are, what you value, what your priorities are, then you can make business decisions according to those values. And it means you will never compromise who you are. It means that those that you associate and align with will align with who you are, and it will all make sense for your business. You will thrive, instead of getting connected to people who don't make sense for you. For example, if you know that you've got someone who's a complete opposite of you, right? They're just totally on the other end of the spectrum, and you're like, oh man, but I don't know, they might be able to rock this business, right? They might be able to do it, but you bring them on, and then it's like this for the next 2 years of trying to do business together, right? So sometimes it's about saying, okay, so that person's not necessarily a fit for me. Maybe I know somebody else they can do business with, right? We'll talk about that later. If you train further with me, I'll teach you about that. But we only have so much time for tonight. But the truth is, you have to know these things so that you can make sure that every decision you make as a business owner aligns with who you are. And you know I'm a woman of faith, for those of you that know me, right? So it's very important that for me, it all aligns with who God has called me to be and what God has placed within me. So those are the things that you have to think about if you want to lead with the business. That's part one, is clarity. You need clarity in those areas to be able to understand where your next moves are going to come in. Part two, that you need to really lead well with the business, is competence. Now, competence is one of those things that isn't something that we think about often. It's not something that we put intense concentration on, but it is something that will help you become the third thing, which is confident. We'll get there in a minute, but competence will give you that. And so when you're thinking about how can I lead strongly with the business, we've got to be thinking about, what do we need to know? What are our areas of knowledge? What are our areas of skill that we need to become better in? And if you're feeling a lack of competence in an area, then make it a priority in your business to get stronger in that area, whether it's product knowledge, your ability to communicate with people, emotional intelligence, maybe it's sales, maybe it's understanding dynamics of the market and how to become a marketer in a world that exists with so many marketers, right? There's a million different things that could be out there, and you don't have to tackle them all at once. You cannot eat an elephant any more than one bite at a time, right? We know that. But these are the things that you have to be thinking about in your business. So as you're thinking about, how am I going to lead with the business, start thinking about the areas where you don't feel as strong, areas where you don't feel like you're 100% confident. It's typically related to feeling a lack of competence. So take some time. You've got an amazing team here. Think about the brain power that's here in this Zoom call tonight. How many of us are on here? Let me look. Let's see. 91 people on this call right now. That is an immense amount of knowledge. That's an immense amount of heart. It's a ton of different perspectives, and each of you have something to bring to the table. So if there's something that one of you is feeling a lack in, there's somebody in this call who can give you what you need. There's somebody in this Zoom who can say, you know what, I struggled with that once too. Let me tell you what I did to move forward, right? So when you begin to work together and you become a great unit and you serve one another, it's going to increase the way that you serve the world. But that confidence piece is something that you have to intentionally do. Don't spend your life just winging it, being like, oh, I really should learn more about the products. Well, if you know you need to learn more about your products, learn more about your products. If you want to lead with the business, you have to know what you sell inside and out, right? Now, sidebar, if you're brand new and you don't know everything about your products, that's okay. You will get there. Right? You just make it a priority to continue to grow and expand in these areas. And when you do, the third thing that's going to help you master leading with the business, the confidence piece, is going to come into line. It's going to come into alignment for you because you can confidently say, I understand how to run a business because I'm authentically doing it. I'm confident that I understand what I'm selling. And I'm competent in these areas because I constantly make it my job to master my craft. Okay? That is an area where people often create a lack of success for themselves, is that they don't make it their job to master their craft, no matter what you're in, no matter what industry you're in. I coach network marketing. I have people in corporate industries. I'm all over the globe in different types of companies that I'm consulting. And the problems are always the same. There is a mastery issue. So if you want to be the person who is out there rocking people's socks off with the business, master your craft. Study it. Learn the most that you can. Now, I get that there's time constraints sometimes that keep us from being able to study for hours on end. It doesn't have to take hours on end. Like I said, you have an incredible brain trust here. Use that. Take advantage of what you have. That is going to help you be a powerhouse in leading with the business. Because when you do those things, there's not a person that you can't walk up to and say, hey, let me tell you about what I'm doing. You need to know. You need to be a part of this, right? And we're going to talk in a little bit about messaging because I got the word that some folks would like some help on how to message, what to say, how to connect with people. So we're going to talk about that, okay? Anybody have any questions about leading with the business before we dive into something else? I'm happy to answer anything that you have before we move on. If not, that's okay. You can always ask it later. You guys know how to reach me. You can find me on Facebook. It's all good. Okay. So the next topic that we're moving into tonight is creating and keeping momentum. How many of you feel like that is a struggle and would like to learn how to create and keep momentum? Okay, awesome. That's okay. Momentum is something that is a constant in every business, regardless of industry. Okay, so here's the thing that you need to know, right? There's always a million external factors that play a role in us, in life, in business, right? There's constantly things coming at you. If you guys ever saw that movie Dodgeball, you know how he's like dodging wrenches, learn how to dodge a ball? Well, that's business. That's business. And here's the truth. When you really get aligned in who you are and what's valuable to you and who you are as a business owner and how you're going to serve the world, I promise you there's going to be a ton of wrenches coming at you. It's just part of the gig. It always happens. When you get fully ready to take your gifts to the world, there are going to be tons of things that come at you, okay? But you can still keep momentum and create it in spite of all of that. So we're going to talk about that tonight, okay? So momentum is a byproduct of action. Nothing more fancy than that. It is literally a byproduct of action, okay? So there's a ton of trainers that will come and they'll be like, let me sell you my $800,000 10-step system to conquering the world. It's literally not any fancier than you just got to do the action, okay? I'm not going to tell you any kind of stories and put a bow on it and call it something it's not. But there are some ways that you can frame the way that you take it on so that you can consistently create that and keep it, okay? So I'm going to put this, I broke momentum down into terms that I think will make sense for you guys. I did it based on your weed, seed, feed, and protect. That's what your products do, correct? Okay. So I want you to start thinking about your business like you think about the way your products are going to treat someone's body, okay? I want you to start wrapping your brain around it that way, okay? So here's the thing. The weeding. Let's talk about that first. The weeding is important. The weeding is a must, okay? The weeding is going to hit some of us in a hard spot because it's going to check some things, okay? So just know that I love you. It's all with love. And if you don't like me at the end of this, that's okay. I just want you to win. You don't have to like me to win, okay? I just want you to win in your business, okay? The first one is the weeding. So here's the thing. If you're going to weed out all the junk that keeps you from having momentum in your business, or it steals momentum from your business, these are the things that you're going to have to do. Because there's nothing worse than creating momentum and then having it stop, right? It's just like when you build a reputation. It can take forever to get it built. Planting those seeds, getting all of that stuff done, toiling or tilling that ground and watering it, right? And then it takes a half a second to destroy it. So we got to make sure that we're doing all of these things when we are trying to have momentum. The first one is this. You must identify the habits that are keeping you from winning. We know what they are. We can generally identify them. But it's important that we address them, because I don't want you to fool yourself and say, I'm going to have the best 2018 ever. And these are the 10 habits that kept me from winning in 2017. And I'm going to keep doing them in 2018. But because I'm such an amazing person, it's not going to affect me in 2018. Let me tell you what, you are each unbelievable, incredible, world-changing, massively impactful people, all right? There's an amazing group here tonight. But if the habits don't change, neither will the results. And that's just the truth of the matter, okay? The second thing you have to address is the people. The people that are keeping you from winning. Now, people can only keep us from winning if we choose to allow them to keep us from winning, just like if we choose to continue to have the habits that will hold us back. But it's important that you identify the people that are creating spaces between you and your wins. Now, because some of those people might be close family, they might be close friends, they might be people that you love dearly, it doesn't necessarily mean that you might be able to eliminate them from your life, but it's about figuring out how to create boundaries so that they understand who you are, what you stand for, what you will allow, and what you won't allow. It's imperative. If you really say you're committed to this thing and you raise your hand, you committed, I'm just saying, okay? The next one is you have to figure out the distractions. What are the distractions that are keeping you from winning? This one might fall in line with habits a little bit, but you got to keenly identify those distractions. Is it social media? Is it television? Is it hanging out with people who are not focused on winning and not really looking to create greatness, okay? It's important. We have to know all of those things. We have to pull those out of our garden and get rid of them, okay? That's the weeding. Number 2 is the seed, okay? The seeding is important too. Every single one of these play an integral role in you creating momentum and keeping it. Reading books, that's your distraction? That's okay. We can work that in. We can work that in, Alyssa. Don't worry. You don't have to give that up. We'll work it in. Okay, so here's the thing, okay? The seeding is about who you are at your core, okay? The seeding begins with you breathing the fire of your business. It's you being the fire, you living as the fire in your business. People want to do business and be a part of something with people who believe in it with every ounce of who they are. They want to be a part of something bigger. They want to be a part of people who are creating things in the world, because humans were created by God to produce and create. Okay? That's what we were created to do. We weren't just created to exist, just to hang out. We were created to do things, okay? But you got to be the fire. So what happens is we get tired because we're not winning. We get tired because the results aren't coming. And then slowly that little internal flame starts to dim, and we start asking ourselves questions like, why did we do this? Is this opportunity right for us? Are we the ones who can win? Well, let me squash all that for you. Yes, you are. This is for you, and you can absolutely do this, okay? So here's something I need you guys to do. I'm going to give you something that you can do to help you light that fire over and over and over again. It's kind of like significant others, right? Like sometimes we have to convince ourselves to fall back in love sometimes. Honey, I love you, mean it, right? It's true. If you're married, you get that. If you've been married, you definitely get that, right? So here's what I want you guys to do. Stand up. Stand up. If you're able. If you're not able to stand up, it's okay. You can just like hold a finger up or something. It's all good. But if you're physically able to stand up, I see you, Kathy. Get up off that seat, cutie. All right. So I want your love for your business to become something physical. This is not just something that you're doing. You are not just trading your time for dollars. You are literally changing the world. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But these are some things that I want you to do when you start feeling the flame dim. I want you to do these. The first thing I want you to do, and I'm going to make you yell out loud, so just get ready. If you have kids, you can whisper it and look like you're yelling out loud, okay? I get it. If they're in bed, I'm not going to ruin that for you. Mine's in bed too, I get it. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to yell as loud as you possibly can, I love my life. Yes, you should love your life. Do you know why you should love your life? Because there are millions of people in the world today who will go to bed and wake up and do something they absolutely hate. They will wake up in the morning and have to walk to a watering hole in Africa somewhere, carrying a 5-gallon bucket of water from a pestilence and feces-filled pond just to have drinking water for their children. That's not you. That's not your life. You get to do this. You get to go out and change people for a living. You get to go out and tell people that something can be different for them. They are thirsting for you. They are dying for you. They are hoping and praying for you right now, okay? So you love your life. You have to remember that, okay? The second thing you need to say is, I love my business. Yes, you do love your business. And then the last thing I want you to say is that it gets to be me. It gets to be me. All right, you can sit down. Good job, guys. Okay. So the it gets to be me part is huge. Because like I said, there's a million people in the world right now that this is not their truth. They don't get to do that. And I want you guys to know how amazing the company is that you represent. I mean, I know you guys already know it, but you've got to absorb it. You've got to live it. You've got to breathe it if you want people to come along, because you got to be the party they want to attend. You've got to be the club that they've always wanted to be a member of. And when you live and breathe it like that, like when you talk to them, if you say, I love my life. I love my business. There is nothing about this day that I didn't love, because when my feet hit the floor, I got to change people. I got to change their bodies from the inside out. I got to offer them the ability to have financial abundance, which opens up the world, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about more of that, or a little bit more about that in a minute, right? But no one can catch fire from you if you are not ablaze, okay? So if you're meeting people out in the world and they're like, hey, what do you do? And you're like, well, I represent this health and wellness company, and we have lots of cool products. It's great. You should really check it out. You're gonna love it. How many of you totally wanted to sign up right now? No, I'm shocked. But if I come to you and I say, oh my gosh, I have an amazing life and I have this incredible company that I'm building, and I need you to come with me. You cannot miss this. This is a train you want to be on. We are destined for greatness, and I want you to come. Who's signing up? Everybody in the room wants to be a part of that, because it feels like something they want to be a part of, okay? Don't forget, people do things based on emotion. And when you give them that emotional connection, they will say yes, okay? So that's the first part of seeding, is that you have to be the fire. You have to do that physical exercise to remind yourself of how to light your fire when you forget, right? Now, I'm not pretending like every day business is going to be easy and business is going to be like super fun and you're going to wake up every day and go, oh my gosh, this is the best day ever. You should say that, right? But there are going to be days where it's a little more difficult than others. I get it. I get it. But give yourself an active intention to set, an active action to take, and then you will go out into the world with a different mindset, a different tongue, a different word, and people will see you differently and they'll want to be a part of it. But number 2 of the seeding is the action. It's the work. You've got to get out there and do the work. You all have your IPAs. You know what they are. You know what the basics of the work are, right? So we can't sit around and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to build my business. Can somebody please tell me what to do? You know what to do. You're underestimating who you are in the action. You're underestimating your value as a person who can deliver it. You're underestimating if people are going to say yes to you, but that doesn't mean that you don't know what to do. Right? You know the work. You got to do the work. But here's what you got to do, okay? As you do the work, remember I told you that if you're going to be successful in business, you have to become a master practitioner of the work. That doesn't mean continuing to do the same things over and over again to the same result and then expecting something different, right? So I'm going to give you 2 ways that you can begin to master your craft as you move and you're doing these IPAs. The first one is this. you've got to ask yourself one of these two questions. The first one is, if this thing is working that I'm doing, as I'm doing my IPAs, as I'm doing all of the follow-up, the functional things that are required to build this amazing business that you have, what's working? What is really working for me? And how do I do it better? That's the first question. Because if you want to set yourself apart from other people who are out in the world trying to do business in the health and wellness sector and industry, it's one of the largest industries in the world, huge, and you have a part of it. You guys are on like the ground floor of like Amazon right now. I hope you know that, by the way. Like seriously, if I wasn't a coach, I would be an ambassador. I say it all the time. It's unbelievable, this opportunity that you guys have. Okay, so you got to ask yourself that question. If it's working, how do I do it better? How do I set myself apart? How do I take that level that it's already bringing me some success and take it one step further? Over and over again, you have to ask yourself that question, because when you perfect your craft, when you master it, then you can teach others, and that is the basis of leadership, okay? The second question that you have to ask yourself is, what isn't working? What is not working right now? What are people not responding to? What am I not getting traction in? What methods of communication aren't working, right? There's some of you, and by some of you, I mean all of you, right, who would be magic on video like this talking to clients, or on phone like this so they can hear you, they can experience you, and not just get a text from you, right? Some of you aren't doing it. You're doing methods that don't work for you. Find out what isn't working for you. Try something different, okay? So what isn't working, and how do I do it differently? That's the second question. If you want to create momentum, that is the consistent path that you have to take over and over and over again. It's not a once in a lifetime thing. That is a consistent thing that has to happen. It is a part of every business model in the world that is successful. In fact, they pay people a lot of money to be keeping track of what's working and what isn't working. Now, I get it. When you're on your own, it's a thing, right? It's another thing that you have to add in, but so you have to figure out where to fit it in. Now, we don't have time to talk about time tonight, but if we did, I would totally tell you how to do that too.
Can I talk real quick? Because
Yeah.
I just want to say that, like, what Jenny just talked about, like what's working, what's not working, is something like she has worked with me a lot about. And that has been like mind blowing to me, like to really, really think about it and list out, like take some time by yourself and think like, okay, what exactly is working? How can I do it better? Like she said, but what's not working? And one of the things I had an issue with was, I'm like, I go back and forth with people all the time. Like I can lead with a business, and I tell her, I go back and forth, and I can't close a deal. It's like pulling teeth to get somebody to sign up. This is crazy. And she's like, why don't you ever talk to them? And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, I'm good. I can type really fast. I'm so good on my phone. You should see those thumbs move. But like talking, whoa. And she's like, I don't want you to message anybody anymore. Like, done, Corinne. Like, you need to only she's like, I'd love for you to Zoom, but let's start with talking on the phone. And this has just been over the last few weeks. And I have done that. Even when somebody on one of my posts says, oh, I would like more information, like right there on the post, I say, great, I'd love to chat with you on the phone. And I totally start like sweating when I type that. And I've had many phone calls over the last like 3 weeks when I started this, and they've all gone so well. And I'm actually like friends with these people now, like really friends. You know what I mean? Because like the thing is, I talk a lot. So like I end up talking to these like strangers. These are not people I know. These are all these new random Facebook friends that I'm friending for an hour and a half. But like they're super interested in it. So that to me, and working with Jenny over months now that I've been working with her, like has been mind blowing to me. Like take that super seriously, because I think that's like business changing. Like, and I know as I continue to do it, because I'm still new at it and still working with Jenny on it, like it's just going to get better and better. But that to me is huge. And it's probably huge for most of us because, and here's the other, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take over this call, but this is the other thing is what I was going to say is that because like when we bring people in and we're messaging back and forth, then that's how they think they're supposed to do it, right? The whole idea of this whole business is duplication. So like now these people I'm talking to and bringing in the business, they think what they're supposed to do is get on the phone with somebody and talk to them about it. So it's like, I don't have to teach it because it's like, they model the behavior. So it's like, it's great. It's fabulous. Anyways, I'm going to mute myself. Go ahead, Jen.
I'm happy to see you adopting it. It's amazing. Oh, we'll tell your hubby I said hi. Okay, so those are the two major things that you do to seed, right? You have to do those things. It's important to consistently always do those things. The next thing that you have to do is feed, right? That's the next step in the process, is we have to feed it. What you are doing, people talk about it all the time in the planting of seeds. I love that analogy because it's a great way to think about bringing something to life. And that is what you are doing in your business, is you're creating something and bringing it to life. But the feeding is the part that's going to continue to make that process happen. Okay. So the first thing that you have to do in the feeding part of creating and maintaining momentum. And remember, we're maintaining and creating. So this is something that consistently has to happen all the time. There's not like a relenting in this. Okay. And the first thing is you have to consistently show up. Let me tell you what I mean by consistently show up. I don't mean just post every day on Facebook. I don't mean randomly messaging people saying, hey, I'm supposed to message 10 people today. You're number 1 on my 10 list. So I messaged and I'm good. I've checked it off. Consistently showing up means that you are actively present in everything that you do. So even if it's as simple as a post, that there is forethought, there is intention, that you actually have a result that you want to come out of that interaction online. If you are talking to people just for the sake of talking to them, if you are posting just for the sake of posting and you are not truly present, even with your teams, right? If you know, okay, I scheduled a team call with Jenny, and I have to be honest, I'm not feeling really good today. I haven't planned for this call at all. I'm just not in it. Cancel that call. Cancel it immediately. You tell Jenny that you can't make that call with her, because every single thing that you do in your business has to increase someone because you were there. Don't ever be there just for the sake of being there. If you are doing that, you are stealing from them and you are stealing from you. And I'm not calling you a thief, but I'm just saying, okay? Here's the truth. God only grants us each so many seconds on this planet. There's very few, right? We don't know between birth and death what that really looks like. Those seconds are precious. We cannot give them back. After we take them from someone, whether it's them taking 5 seconds to read a post on Facebook, or 10 seconds to engage in a conversation with us, or an hour on a Zoom call that you didn't prepare for, that you weren't ready for, right? That you weren't prepared to pour into them through. You can't say, oh man, I'm so sorry I wasted that time. I'm going to give that back to you next week. You can't. Once you've taken it, it's gone. It's done. So we need to make sure that every single second of who we are in our business is always with an intention of adding value and increasing someone, making them better than we found them. Every single thing that we do, it needs to be just that calculated. If you want to truly grow a business that becomes a life-breathing organism, which it will, when you give it all of the love and the credence and the due diligence that it deserves, when you treat it like a business and you do it with heart, right? That's the thing that's so different about this company, right? You guys are heart-led. You have hearts the size of oceans. That's different. So there's a ton of other things that are happening that will give you traction and momentum in your business if you do these things. But consistently showing up is key. If you literally are just winging it and just kind of there for the sake of being there, take a moment, take a deep breath, gather yourself, and be present. Because I promise you the results will be tenfold. Okay. The second thing that you have to do in the feeding is you must continue to learn. You must continue to grow and expand. But there's a caveat to this. Okay. It is paramount that you continue to expand, because in order to lead someone, in order to lead multiple someones, you have to have things that you can teach them. You have to have things that you can show them. Leadership, if you guys follow my Fit to Lead Friday series, you know that I teach leadership as John Maxwell teaches it. And that is that you literally know something, you do something with that information, and then you show them how to do it. Okay. That's it. Leadership is not anything any more fancy than that. Okay. But in order to do that, you have to continue to expand your knowledge base. That's how they begin to see you as a resource. That's how they begin to see you as an authority. And people want to be connected to people who are authorities on subjects and who are resources. You must be a conduit for information. I say it all the time. Be a river of life for people. Be an abundant source of knowledge and love and giving and serving, and your business is going to thrive. You don't even have to worry about the money. If you do all of that, the money's going to follow, I promise. It's a guarantee. Okay? But here's the caveat on that grow, expand, learn piece. And this is what some of us do And unfortunately, it keeps us from expanding in the way that we need to. And it is the implementation phase. If you are constantly taking in knowledge, constantly attending seminars, constantly attending Zooms and reading books and listening to podcasts and doing all these things, and then doing absolutely nothing with that information, it becomes useless to you. It is literally something that just took up time and brain space. Okay? So before you get too ahead of yourself, get intentional about your learning. Get intentional about the time that you're spending doing these things so that you know it's valuable for you and for those you serve. Okay? The last thing that you have to do for the feed is you have to help other people win. If you want to feed your business, if you want to put the fertilizer into what you're growing, you have to help other people win. It's about them. Our lives are not about us. Every single thing that we do through our businesses, who we are as humans, is not about us because there is so much external impact. Remember, I told you that I just love what you all are about. I love what your company is about. And let me tell you why. Because every time you change somebody's life through delivering a product that is altering their bodies in the most positive way, every time you connect with someone who becomes a business builder with you, and you give them the ability to connect to abundance and wealth, that's exciting. But that's not the deal. The deal is that their kids become somebody different because they learn a different vocabulary, because mommy and daddy are speaking differently, because mommy and daddy are behaving differently. Or maybe you're an aunt or a sister and it's your family, right? It's people that you love. They become different because you dare to be great, because you dare to be who God has called you to be. They become somebody different, but it doesn't stop there. It's their friends. Their friends become different because they become influencers. They watch you learn how to influence and lead, and they do it too. It's a natural inclination for them to take what mommy and daddy or grandma or aunt and uncle are doing and apply it in their own being, right? But it doesn't stop there. Who do they meet? What do they experience, right? Who do they influence along the way? These are the things that we have to think about when we almost go to say, oh, I'm not the one today. I can't do this today. This business isn't for me. You can't think that way, because there is a generational impact that you are starting right now. You are literally the pebble that's going to start a tidal wave of greatness if you dare to go for it. So when we get too small in our thinking about what our opportunities are, and we just think about it as we're trading time, trading money for products, it's so much more than that. Each and every one of you are absolute world changers. Like, I know people say that, but I mean it. You guys are world changers. You are going to create a revolution if you just dare to continue to be great. That's the feeding part. Now let's talk about the protecting part. The protecting part is the final piece. It's the wrap up. It's the piece that's going to protect this thing that you're creating, okay? It is the negativity in your life. You must eliminate it. You must identify it, and you must eliminate it, because no matter how insignificant it seems, it is poison, and it will absolutely kill what you are trying to grow. So if it's from people, it's from things, it's from places, it's from music, it's from books, whatever it is that are negative sources, figure out how to eliminate them or contain them. You are the guard, the gatekeeper to everything that happens right here and everything that happens right here. You absolutely have permission to protect it with your whole life and with everything that you are. And your missions require it. And I can't say that enough. Those who train with me know there's no negativity. And by the way, I caught a little in that, what you said earlier, Corinne, we'll talk about later. Love you, mean it. It's okay. I love you. You know I love you. But it's true, right? So we have to know that there has to be a boundary of what we'll do. And here's the thing. Negativity comes in a ton of different forms, right? It comes from other people. It comes from other external sources, but it also comes from us. Be very careful about what comes out of your lips. Be very careful about what runs through here, right? Change your language. Change the way you speak to yourself. Don't ever say, I'm not this. I can't this. I shouldn't this. Instead, begin to speak life and think life into everything that you are, because when you speak life and you breathe life on an active basis, you become life for other people. That is the weed, seed, feed, and protect of how to maintain and create momentum in your business. But moreover, that is the way that you're going to create massive success in your business, doing those things. Now, I know that we are running a little short on time. I got a couple other topics that are we okay? Or we need to kind of cut it?
I think that you're fine. If anybody has to go, they'll just log off. But I mean,
Because it's recorded, right?
Give me a thumbs up if you want to continue. Let her continue. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you guys are
if
awesome.
you have to go, you can go. Well, not you, Jenny, but you know.
I was gonna say, I'm out. Bye.
Yeah, no.
Okay, just kidding. We'll keep moving then, because I know we're running short on time and I know it's late. Okay, so I know that I'm passionate about that piece, but it's because it means so much for me to get connected to how big your opportunities are, so that you can really get out of it what you deserve, because you were created for greatness and I want you to get it. So the next topic that we had that was kind of big on the to-do list was, what do we message people? How do we talk to them about the business? What do we say? How do we get them to hear us? And I know that that is something that is a constant topic. So I have just a few things that I think might help. And then I might be able to give you some wording as well. But the messages always have to come from you. They have to be authentically you. But here's the truth about messaging. There are a few different messages that have to happen so that people will connect with you. How many of you, when you send someone a friend request or you receive a friend request, you immediately message the person on the other end of that request, whether you've sent it or you've received it? Okay. If you don't, start. Because here's the thing, they're getting tons of requests every day to be friends from people who are looking to just get money out of them. If you want to be different, if you want to be seen as different, you have to connect with them immediately. And you have to say something like, this is just a basic message, but hey, I'm grateful to connect with you. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. Thank you so much for accepting my request, or thank you so much for extending a request. It can be just that simple. It doesn't have to be any fancier than that. It's just literally about letting them know that you're grateful for them. How many people express gratitude to you on a daily basis? Ooh, sorry, I missed something in the protect piece. You need to be doing daily gratitudes. I forgot to say that. Sorry, guys. If you're not doing daily gratitudes, gratitude is a must. I make my trainees write them daily without repeats. We can talk about it if you need to. Okay. But the messaging piece, telling them that you are grateful for connecting with them, for them connecting with you, is huge. It's meaningful. It's a personal touch. I also recommend that you voice message them. If you're text messaging your people, get on that voice messenger feature. Now, I know that with some of the updates recently, the messages have been a little weird, like they're not loading and you have to like do a thing to get them to play. I get that. If you see that you've left a voice message and somebody hasn't heard it or they haven't responded to it, you might do like a little follow-up message that says, hey, I sent you this message the other day. I know there's a couple update things happening. Just want to make sure that you got it. Just trying to say, hey, you know, whatever, just something simple, okay? But messaging people is all about coming from your heart. Sometimes we try to make it really fancy. We try to make it something really special. But the truth is, just share your heart. If you want to connect with them, why do you want to connect with them? Now, it's going to be a lot easier for you to know how to connect with them when you know what your intentions are. Right? Those things that we talked about a little bit earlier, when you clarify the kind of people that you want to be connected to, it's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot easier to say, hey, Jenny, I just want to tell you that I really enjoy listening to you. We have a couple friends in common and I'm excited to get to know you. And I see that you're a Plexus ambassador, or I see that you're a horse trainer, or I see that you're a doctor. I would love to know more about your life and what you're doing, what you're up to. Tell me about what's important to you, right? There are so many things that you can do. Asking questions is a great way. Actually, got a voice message. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I love it. But it's not that complicated, okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about, as you're connecting with these new people, now we're talking about two different things here. We'll talk about actually how to message them about the business in just a minute. But when you're just doing your basic initial connection, what you don't want to do is some random thing like, hey, I saw your post about your dog. It was awesome. Random and weird. Don't do that. Don't talk to them about, like, don't be looking for things like, I see that you have 5 kids and a horse farm. That's so interesting. Tell me about that. No, that's just weird. It looks like you're stalking them. Okay. Facebook is legally stalking, and it's okay. I get it. I've legally stalked most of you, all out of love, right? But the truth is, there needs to be a real, organic, truthful, authentic reason that you're connecting with them. If it's that you're looking for new friendships, it's that you're looking for powerful women or powerful men to be in contact with, say that. Tell them that you notice that they are connected to a lot of people, that they seem to be a great communicator. Maybe you caught their live and you liked something about their live. Whatever it is that you say, let it come from the heart and be authentic. That is what you message people. There's no magic message for all of you. It just has to be real, and it has to be from you. Don't be searching for weird things to like make connections about. Like if you went to ASU 15 years ago and they're graduating from ASU, don't just be like randomly reaching for things. Find a real reason to be in contact with them, or it might be time to kind of wait for a minute. Okay. Now, when messaging people about the business, when you're ready to say, hey, I want to talk to you about Plexus, here's the greatest way that you can reach out. You've identified those people who you're like, okay, that Jenny, there's something about her. I want her on my team. Why do you want her on your team? Why is she a dream teamer? What are the qualities that she possesses? What are the things that make sense for you to say, I want that girl. She's on my team. She doesn't know it yet, but she's on my team. And then go tell her that. Go say, hey, Jenny, we've been friends for a week now, or we've been friends for a month now, or we've been friends for 4 months now, whatever it is. And I have to tell you that I think you are amazing. You are an incredible communicator. You are fun. You are energetic. You are really just one of those people that injects positivity into the world, whatever it is that you really have actually authentically identified about them. And then you say, look, I'm creating this amazing business. It's growing like wildfire. It is. Plexus is growing like wildfire. It's unbelievable, the growth that you guys are having. But you can say it's growing like crazy. And I am looking for the most amazing people to come with me on this journey. And I think that's you. And here's the truth. This may not be for you, but I will not live with regret of being the one who didn't tell you, who didn't talk to you about it. Let's chat for 5 minutes, right? And you tell them, let's chat. Don't say, well, if you're not busy on a Tuesday and you think you might want to hang out for 5 minutes, if maybe you could spare the time, let's chat. No. People follow direction. So if you say, hey, I want to chat with you, let's set up a time, they are far more likely to respond with, okay, yeah, why not? Let's chat. No harm, no foul. But you've got to get really intentional with your message and be truthful and authentic in it, okay? So there's a couple different messages. There's the connection message. There's the open to opportunity, I'm looking for the window message. That's that one we just talked about, talking to them about the business. The next one is that service message where you say, hey, okay, we're connecting. It's time. Now you have to think about, what are you going to share with them? What are you going to say to them? What's the thing that's most important? Here's what I'll tell you. In that message where you're actually talking with them one-on-one, hopefully via phone, or via Zoom face-to-face, right? Not via messenger texting. If you're doing the majority of your recruiting via just words back and forth on Messenger, you're missing it. I promise you, you're missing a lot of opportunity. There's a ton of closing that isn't happening because they can't get a sense of who you are. They can't feel your emotion. But when you are actually with them one-on-one and you want to know what to say to them, you say just a little bit about why you wanted to connect and then zip it. You let them talk. Ask questions. There's a great book by John Maxwell. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. It's Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. If you're looking for how to pose questions, how to put them together, that is what is going to give you the ability to really bring someone in. Because if you listen well and you ask the right questions, someone will tell you what they need from you. They will tell you how to serve them. And for those of you that train with me in my courses or are going to do my next course, we'll talk about sales. And what you'll learn, or what you have learned, is that sales is nothing more than service. If you are doing sales right, it is serving people with what you have for the best of what they need. That is what sales is. Sales is in every part of who we are, right? We're negotiating all the time. If you have kids, if you have people that you're connected to, things you're trying to get done, sales is a part of life. It's just all over us. It's not just this when you're trying to get money for a product, right? It's so much more than that. So understand that you have to be thinking about who they are. So when you're crafting what you're going to say, be crafting questions in there, be coming up with things that you can ask. And as you're getting started and you want to master this craft, come up with a list of questions. It doesn't mean you're going to go down the list like you're interrogating them, but it means you ask one, you let them answer, and then you let their answer lead you to where it goes next, right? And you will perfect that over time. You will master that over time. Anybody have any other questions about messaging? I know we could go so much more in depth with that. I could give you more specific language and things like that, but I don't want to keep you all night long because we totally could. Messaging could take all night long. So does anybody have any specific questions about messaging? I'm happy to answer them while I'm here. No? I know it's bedtime, guys. Everybody's so excited to get to work after this call. That's what it is. Oh my goodness, I'm holding you up from work time, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, the very last topic that, oh, you're so kind. Thank you, love. The very last topic that we had was how do we stop sabotaging ourselves? Anybody ever dealt with sabotaging themselves? It's okay. I've been there. Totally been there. After tonight, you are never going to self-sabotage again, because now you know how important this opportunity is. Now you know how important you are in it, and I'm going to give you some tools that are going to help you stop sabotaging who you are, okay? The very first thing that you have to do to get rid of sabotage in your life is stop giving yourself permission to do it. It is an active choice every day to say, I will not let the habits that usually steal from me get in the way. I will not let these other things that stand between me and my wins get in the way. I am choosing instead to do this because I know what I want on the other side of it, okay? That's the first thing. You got to stop doing that. And we do it all the time, right? We're like, oh, it's like our diets, right? We'll start on Monday. It's good. We're going to eat everything under the sun this weekend. Totally feel bloated and nothing's going to fit. But Monday, I'm on it. You cannot treat your business like a diet. Oh, you're so kind. You cannot treat your business like a diet. You cannot start on Monday. It's got to start now. It's got to start in the very next move that you make. Your power and who you're going to be and how successful you're going to be is in the next step that you take, okay? So stop giving yourself permission to hold back, to pull back. Instead, you make it an active intention. Remember, we talked about what comes out of here is the determining factor of what will be, right? So instead, you speak, I'm going to do this. I am focused, I am intentional, and I'm going to conquer this, okay? The next thing you have to do is create an active mindset process that will keep you in a mode of winning. When you live in that mode of gratitude and positivity, you will never ever see a loss in who you are and what you do. I don't lose. People who train with me better know they don't lose, right? Everybody know it? And they all said amen. Yeah, you don't lose. Because even when things don't go like you want them to, even when things haven't been what you hoped they would be, you still learn. There's still a moment to learn. There's something to pull from it that helps you be bigger, be better, go bolder next time, okay? But it's about that mindset. You have to create an active process. If you don't have a process to conquer your mornings, to conquer your day, where you set the tone and nobody else is in charge of that, oh, yeah, Cindy, I'm so excited. Get on it. That is going to help you stop sabotaging yourself. When your mindset is so strong like that, nothing can shake you. When people throw those wrenches at you, it might hit you square in your forehead right here, and it might make you wobble a little, but it'll never knock you off your feet. And if you're going to run a successful business, which you are, you have to know that the mindset is key. The next thing you have to do, and this is where you guys are going to have to come together as a team. I need you to promise that in 2018, because you've all committed here tonight that you want 2018 to be your year, that you're going to commit to each other. That you're going to commit to being a positive force in each other, with each other, for each other, meaning no commiserating in problems. Don't talk about your problems. Mention it one time, and then you go to a solution. That's it. Don't whine about it. Fix it. Okay? Sorry, I get excited. I start tough loving. Okay? Don't whine about it. Fix it. Because you're not serving each other by being like, well, this didn't work. The back office, well, the back office is just so broken on it. We're just not going to be able to do anything. Hooey on this back office, right? No. Where are you winning in spite of your back office issues, right? I know it was a thing. I trained a ton of ambassadors. I get it. I've heard all about it. The question is, what do you do in spite of it? How can you seed and pour into your business right now in spite of it? Those are the kinds of things that you have to think differently, that you have to perform differently in. Okay? But you have to be surrounded by other people. That's the third thing. Get surrounded by other people who are in that same mindset, who are not willing to let themselves sabotage what they're doing, what they're trying to create. So I need you to make an oath to each other tonight that you're going to be that. So if somebody in this group comes to you and they say, man, I'm dealing with this thing, that it's not a moan fest, that it's okay. I hear you. I've experienced it myself. Now, what are we going to do about it? What's the solution? How do we fix it? When you begin to think in solutions instead of problems, your life will change, your business will change. It will be a whole game changer in everything that you do. But you've got to make it an active effort. So don't be the one who's like, oh, I heard Jenny. Whatever, she doesn't know what she's talking about, right? Don't be that girl. Don't be that guy. Do it anyway. Even if it hurts, if it doesn't feel natural, do it anyway, because you need to be there for each other. Because when you guys are on fire, can you imagine what you guys are going to do this year? Everybody leaving this call on fire for 2018, knowing that they are serving the world in a big way and knowing that they're going to have this much support, almost 100 people supporting each other for the next year, lifting each other up, encouraging each other when it gets tough, helping each other come up with solutions when they don't know where to go, when they don't know who to reach, when they don't know what to say, when they don't know what to do. You've got each other. You're a family. Act like one. And your businesses are going to go bananas in 2018. All right? That's how you stop sabotaging. No permission to do it. Get in there and win that mindset, and then get with people who are in the same mindset as you. If you're spending 90% of your time with people who aren't trying to be more, who aren't reaching for their more, guess who's going to be the influenced one? Just saying. All right. Well, that is what I have for you guys tonight. We could totally go on all night. I love you so much. Thank you so much for the time. I'm honored that you thought enough of me to have me here. And any questions that you have, I'll hang on for as long as you want.
Jenny, can you, your next, like I've taken the 2 courses and I know I had some people ask me, well, what is like the next thing she's doing? And I know it's the 120 days. Can you just like briefly, I'm going to post about it tomorrow, but for those live, they might have questions or whatever. Can you kind of explain it a little?
Yes. So tonight, what we did tonight is just some brief snippets of things that we'll cover in the course. It's 12 weeks. And I did 12 weeks because it used to be 6 weeks. And it's kind of similar to Elite Disruptors. We're covering some of the same material, but I've added some new stuff in there. But 12 weeks is so that we have real time for implementation. So there's 8 live modules where I get together with you and teach just like this, giving you everything that I know, everything that I've used to build a business. And then we have 8 live Q&As. So you get to come together and ask whatever questions you have to help execute every level of your business at the highest point of excellence for you. So yeah, we're going to run for 4 months. It's $99 a month, and it's going to be a great time. It's really unique in that there's a live collaborative feature. So it's kind of like this where we have people. It happens in a Facebook group and in Zoom. There's a combination. And so it's with people who are in a mind of just being ready to run, and they're excited and they want to fight for their business and they want to fight for what they're doing in the world, and we do it together. So we link arms, and it's going to be a great time. So that's kind of the general gist. But if anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer whatever you got. I'm an open book.
If you guys have questions, if you want to unmute yourself to ask your question or type it up, you can. Anybody?
I get it. Everybody's so excited to get back to work tonight. I love it. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Yay.
So many businesses thriving tonight. I love it.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for taking, hey, we do have questions.
So the deadline to sign up is the 28th because we kick off on January 3rd, and it's every Tuesday, which is supposed to be at 9 p.m., but I know you guys have these calls, so I might switch it to 8 p.m. Eastern so that we can accommodate more. So most likely it'll be 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Just got to work out.
I'll post the link to sign up or whatever in our group tomorrow. Thank you so much. So awesome. Yeah.
I'd love to have you.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Like you took like over an hour with our team. Like you totally didn't have to do this. And I really, really, really appreciate it. And I know everybody really enjoyed. I took a ton of notes, and I've taken 2 of your courses and heard a lot of it. And I still took all these notes. So there's always more that we can learn, and I love it. So thank you. I'm going to unmute everyone because I'm sure, let's see, I'm in my.
Yes, they will be recorded. They'll be recorded, and you'll have access to the content for a full year.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just unmuted everybody, so everybody can say thank you, Jenny.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Jenny.
Bye, guys. Take care.